Good afternoon, Strat-O-Maticers. Welcome to our Game 1 replay of the 1977 World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. My name is Keith. I will be your host over the next hour and a half as we pit these two legendary teams against one another. So I thought we'd start out with just some basic introduction pieces. This will be a super advanced game. I expect to use most, if not all, the rules that are available to us in the super advanced game. I know that's going to slow it down a little bit, but I enjoy playing it that way. The second thing is that by no means am I an expert, however, on the super advanced rules. So that means if you should happen to be watching this replay and notice that perhaps there's a misinterpretation or an execution of a rule that's an error, just kindly mention it in the comment section, and I'll be sure to give it some attention before the next time I play. This isn't intended to be a critique. It's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be something that you and I both enjoy. However, I do think the rules play an important part in the overall presentation of this game. The second thing is we're going to be using the ballpark effects as well. So the New York Yankees in the 77 series were the home team, so the series will begin in Yankee Stadium. I am using historical rosters off of baseballreference.com. Really enjoyed that website. I've used it for my 1911 Detroit Tigers series replay. And I think I've gone through about 45 games doing that, and I think it's really interesting from a historical perspective to see how the game of baseball has changed based on how managers have position their lineups. So for those who are curious, the lineups used on that day on October 11th, 1977 are indeed the lineups that I'll be using. Substitutions and also relief pitchers brought into the game will be of my own accord. However, to get us started, we will be using the base lineups from that first game of the series. So that being said, just a little bit of comments around the game itself. So as I mentioned, the game was played in Yankee Stadium. It was on October 11th, 1977. It was a night game played on grass. The paid attendance was 56,668, and the time of the game was 3 hours and 24 minutes. The ballpark effects for Yankee Stadium are the same for singles hit from the left or right side of the plate. On a roll of 1 to 8, there'll be a single with 1 asterisk. A roll of 9 or greater will result in either a line out to the second baseman or shortstop, depending on which side of the plate is hitting. Home runs handled a little bit differently from the left side of the plate. 1 through 10 will result in a home run. An 11 or greater is a fly out to right field. A little bit more difficult from the right side. 1 through 2 will result in a home run. A 3 or greater will result in a fly ball out to left field. We'll go ahead and introduce our pitchers, and then we'll get into the teams and lineups, beginning with the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the Dodgers have on the mound the All-Star Game MVP Don Sutton. He is a right-handed pitcher. He has a 7 as far as an endurance rating goes. Fielding, he's a 3 fielding rating with a 6 error rating. He does have an opportunity for a potential balk on a roll of a 1, and his wild pitch is 4 or less. He is a number 2 weak right-handed hitter, and his hold rating is +2. Sutton's battery mate for this game will be Steve Yeager. Yeager's arm is a -3, so when we're doing stolen base calculations for the New York Yankees, we will need to keep in mind that Sutton's +2 will help offset Yeager's -3 arm. So that's your starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. For the New York Yankees, we have left-handed pitcher Don Gillette. Gillette has a starter rating of 7, similar to Sutton. His fielding rating is a 4 with an error rating of 10. No opportunities for a balk on his pitcher card. However, he does have a wild pitch on a 5 or less. His hold rating is -2, and his hitting card is a number 1 pitcher card, weak, and he bats from the right side. So he's a left-handed thrower but bats from the right. The -2 hold, coupled with Munson's -1 arm will give you an overall -3 modifier for stolen base attempts by the Dodgers, which should keep them more or less limited to first base unless the situation warrants an attempt for a low probability stolen base. I will point out the bunting too. The 1977 World Series had the designated hitter not in play for this series. From the years 76 to 85, the designated hitter was used in even numbered years of the World Series. So 77, obviously an odd number, no designated hitter. So Sutton has a bunting rating of A, and Gillette has a bunting rating of C. So we'll see how that plays out here as the game progresses. So those are your starting pitchers. Our lineups for today's game. I'll go ahead and, I'm not sure how easy this is going to be to read, but I'll just run through here. So with Gillette on the mound for the Yankees, as I mentioned, a left-handed pitcher, you can see that Tommy Lasorda stacked his lineup with right-handed hitters up and down. Reggie Smith is a switch hitter, however, he will be hitting from the right side. So top to bottom, Lasorda's lineup is right-handed against the lefty. Tommy Lasorda was the manager of the 77 Dodgers with a 98-64 record. They won the National League West, and they defeated the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1 to advance to the World Series. So your lineup for today's Dodgers: batting leadoff at second base is Davey Lopes. Batting second is the shortstop Bill Russell. Batting third is the all-star Reggie Smith in right field. Notice his -3 arm rating and make it a little bit more difficult to advance on hits to right field. Batting fourth is the third baseman Ron Cey. Ron Cey was a all-star as well in 77. On the other side of the infield, batting fifth is Steve Garvey at first base. Garvey was an all-star. He was also a Gold Glove in 1977. Batting in the sixth spot is the left fielder Dusty Baker, a Gold Glove in 77 as well, -2 arm rating. In the seventh position, we have the center fielder Glenn Burke, a 0. That should help us make decisions on whether or not we advance runners on balls hit to Burke. The catcher Steve Yeager, as I mentioned earlier, -3 arm rating, pass ball rating of 2, and a wild throw error of 1 through 18. So good defensive catcher, however a little bit erratic with his arm. And once again, the All-Star Game MVP Don Sutton is on the mound, right-handed pitcher for today's Dodgers. So those are your Los Angeles Dodgers. Moving over to the New York Yankees. 77 Yankees were helmed by skipper Billy Martin. Martin led the Yankees to a 162 record. To advance to the World Series, the New York Yankees beat the Kansas City Royals 3-2 in the American League Championship Series. Several All-Stars, and we'll note them as we go through here. Mickey Rivers leads off for the Yankees, batting from the left side. Sutton's a right-handed pitcher, playing center field. You've got Willie Randolph at second base, an all-star in 77. Munson, all-star, reserve, playing catcher. Note the -1 arm rating previously mentioned, pass ball rating of 3, and an arm error rating of 1 through 9 on throws to second base for stolen base attempts. Mr. October, Reggie Jackson's playing right field, -3 arm rating, batting from the left side and also an all-star. Chris Chambliss at first base, batting from the left side. Greg Nettles playing third base, batting from the left side. Nettles in 77 was an all-star and also a Gold Glove. Lou Piniella playing in left field, +1 arm rating, so runners should have a little bit of a better time running against Lou Piniella if the opportunity presents itself. Bucky Dent in the 8th spot, playing shortstop, and the pitcher again is Don Gillette, throwing from the left side, batting from the right, and he is our pitcher for today's game. A couple of other notes quickly before we start. The New York Yankees do have the American League Cy Young winner Sparky Lyle on the bench to come into the game if needed. And those would be your 1977 New York Yankees. Alright, Strat-O-Maticers, let's get this game going. So leading off for the Los Angeles Dodgers is the right-handed hitting second baseman Davey Lopes. Pitch from the lefty Gillette. That's a 5 and an 8. A 5 and an 8 is a double on a 1 through 5. A fly ball to left field, 6 through 20. That is a fly out to left field. And 1 out is recorded. Shortstop Bill Russell is at the plate with the switch hitting Reggie Smith on deck. 1 down, top of the first. It's a 4 and an 11. A 4 and an 11 against a right-handed batter is a ground ball third base. So 2 down for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Switch hitting Reggie Smith is up. Smith will be hitting from the right side of the plate against the lefty Gillette. A 4 and a 10 against right-handed batters. A 4 and a 10 is a strikeout. So Gillette retires to side 1, 2, 3. After the first half inning, it's the Dodgers 0 and the Yankees 0. If you hadn't noticed, the intent of how I'll be displaying the cards is as follows. Dodgers are on the left, Yankees are on the right, player at the plate is on home plate, and then we'll display the first, second, and third base runners as well, just to give you a live update. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. I like doing that. It helps me keep things organized. So, leading off for the New York Yankees against the right-handed pitching Don Sutton is the left-handed center fielder Mickey Rivers. That is a 1 and a 5 against right-handed pitchers. A 1 and a 5 is a single. So Rivers gets the Yankees started with a leadoff single. So I like to steal bases in the game. I think the super advanced stealing methodology is really cool. As I mentioned, you've got Yeager with a -3 arm as a catcher, and then Sutton as a +2 hold for a -1 modifier. We look at Rivers. He achieves a good lead on a roll of 3 through 8 if he's held. The asterisk means that if he is held, that I do need to roll. If I don't hold him with the asterisk, it means he automatically gets a good lead. And then there's a possibility with a roll of an 11 for the good lead that he is thrown out. I am not going to ask Rivers to steal too early in the game. I don't want to make my first out in a stolen base attempt when I've got some pretty darn good hitters up. So batting next is the right-handed hitting Willie Randolph, second baseman, with Thurman Munson on deck. So we will add the 20-sided die to the rolls now for a random event, and look at that, we have one. So I'm going to roll the 6-sided dice, 1 through 3. We have a Bach opportunity, a 4 through 6, a pass ball. So we have a Bach opportunity on Don Sutton. So that would be a roll of a 1 on the 20-sided dice, and we do not get that. So there was no Bach. However, I will just re-roll the 3 dice, being that there was nothing that took place. So here we go. So that's a 2 and a 10 against a right-handed pitcher. A 2 and a 10 is a ground ball second base C. So the infield was playing back. The runner was being held at first. However, that will result in a batter out. Runners advance 1 base. So that is our first out of the inning. However, Rivers does get second base, and it puts him in scoring position. For the right-handed Thurman Munson. Rivers will be held at second base by the second baseman, Davey Lopes. Our roll is a 1 and an 11, but possible random event again with the 2. And this time, it's a potential pass ball. So we look at Steve Yeager's card. He is a pass ball on a 2 or less. Ooh, and it's a 3, so he's able to cover the pitch from Sutton and hang on to avoid the pass ball. So no pass ball occurs. However, I will re-roll the 3 6-sided dice, and that is a 2 and a 10 against a right-handed batter, or excuse me, right-handed pitcher. 2 and a 10 is a possible ballpark effect home run. So Munson bats from the right side of the plate. Ballpark effect, opportunity for a home run. As a right-handed batter, I would need a 1 or a 2 for a home run to occur. Otherwise, it would be a fly out to left field. And that is a fly out to left field. So Randolph stays at second base, and we have 2 outs for Mr. October, the left-handed hitting Reggie Jackson. Let's see if Jackson can get Rivers in. So our roll, that is a 1 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher. A 1 and an 8 is a walk. So Sutton issues his first walk of the game, and that puts runners on first and second base with 2 outs for the left-handed hitting first baseman Chris Chambliss. Rivers is going to be held at second. Chambliss is going to swing away. That's a 4 on the 20-sided dice, no random event. He's a left-handed hitter. So that's a 4 and an 8 against left-handed batters. A 4 and an 8 is a walk. So Sutton is having some control issues early in the game. The catcher, Steve Yeager, is going to call time and head out to the mound for a brief conversation. Try to get Sutton focused again on hitting the strike zone, and a handful of words of encouragement. That's a second walk issued by Sutton. Moves Rivers to third, Jackson to second, and Chambliss to first for the left-handed hitting Graig Nettles. Graig Nettles hit 37 home runs in 1977. This isn't the guy that you want to be facing with the bases loaded early in the game. So let's see what happens here. So the pitch to Nettles. Wow, Yahtzee. That's a 6 and a 12. A 6 and a 12 against a left-handed batter is a ground ball pitcher X. So it's back to Sutton. So we'll be consulting the super advanced fielding chart. So Sutton is a 3 fielding rating and a 6 error rating. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll the dice here. So that's a 16 on the fielding rating and an 11 on the error rating. So I'm going to consult the super advanced chart. So a pitcher, a 3 and a 16 is a G2, and an error rating of 6 and an 11 is no effect. So a G2 with no runners, bases loaded, that is going to get us out. Sutton's going to go to first for a 1-3 out. So the inspirational talk by Steve Yeager helps Sutton get out of the inning. Yankees strand 3 base runners off of 1 hit, no errors and no runs scored. After 1, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers 0, the New York Yankees 0. So we have a scoreless ball game after 1. The right-handed hitting third baseman Ron Cey is at the plate. Cey, a 1977 National League All-Star Team representative. And the pitch. That's a 2 and a 7 against a left-handed pull, and that's not, so it's a ground out 4-3. Garvey is next. Not only was Garvey an all-star in '77, but he was also a Gold Glove. So pretty great season for Steve Garvey, and he hit over 30 home runs as well. So that's 6 and a 7. 6 and a 7 against a right-handed batter is a ground ball, second base X. So the ball is hit to Willie Randolph. Randolph is at 12. That is a G1. And then an 18 on a second baseman for an error rating with a 12 results in no effect. So that's a 4-3 put out again. So Randolph helps get 2 outs right away for the Yankees in the top of the second. Dusty Baker's batting next. Baker in '77 was a Gold Glove out in left field. So no shortage of awards for the '77 Dodgers. Alright, our pitch from Gillette. That's a 1 and a 9 against the left-handed pitcher. A 1 and a 9 is a fly ball right field. So 3 up and 3 down for the Dodgers, and they are retired in their half of the second inning. So in case you're wondering if there's a brief pause or delay, as I'm recording things, I'm keeping score as I go here for hopefully a game wrap up when I'm done. So, and then I'll hopefully be able to carry on the statistics from the games throughout the rest of the series to just give some additional talking points as the games are played out. So hoping this is going to be interesting for y'all. Alright, so Sweet Lou Piniella, left fielder batting from the right side of the plate, is up first for the Yankees in the bottom of the second. The roll, a 3 and an 11 against a right-handed pitcher. A 3 and an 11 is a ground ball third base. So Piniella is retired. Say to Garvey. Shortstop Bucky Dent. That's a 2 and an 11 against the right-handed pitcher. 2 and an 11 is a ground ball shortstop. So Russell to Garvey for the second out. It is interesting, you know, when you look at these two teams, that with Dusty Baker and Lou Piniella, you know, two of the best managers we've seen in the past 30 years played in this game. Pretty cool, along with, you know, several Hall of Famers as well. So really interesting to play these cards as the players played the game. We have Don Gillette hitting next, pitcher against pitcher. Gillette is a one-hitter, worst batting card that you could have. He will swing away. That's a 1 and a 4 for a strikeout. So that would be the third out of the inning. First recorded strikeout by Sutton in this game. So after 2, the score remains 0-0. The Dodgers are working to get on the board here. They're going to try to get started with the center fielder Glenn Burke. That's a 3 and a 9 against the left-hander Gillette. A 3 and a 9 is a double on a 1 through 17, a single 18 to 20. Or excuse me, yeah, that's correct. Double 1 through 17, single 18 through 20. So that is a double. So Burke managed to get the first hit off of Gillette of the game for a no-out double. So Burke is at second base. Burke has a good running rating, a 16. He also has a nice stealing numbers as well. I'm not real interested in stealing third base, but I would like to get a jump if I can. with that running rating, convert a ball to the outfield maybe for an extra base hit or an additional base. So that being said, Burke will be held on as the right-handed hitting Steve Yeager bats next. All right, so the roll, that's a 5 and an 11 against a right-handed batter. 5 and an 11 is a ballpark effect single. So on a 1 through 8, it's a single to the single, 9 or greater, line out to the shortstop. So it is. So Burke is safe at second. He's able to get back on the line out to the shortstop for the first out. Then we have Don Sutton. Sutton has an A rating as a bunter. The corners are in. I'm going to try to bunt with Sutton to see if I can't sacrifice his at-bat to move Burke from second to third. So we are going to bunt. So we have corners in. That takes Sutton's A bunting grade down to a B. And let's see what happens. So here we go. So there's no random event. That is a 1 and a 6. A 1 is a bunt back to the pitcher. And a roll of the 6 on the B is a defense. So batter drops down a bunt, and the defense has the option of throwing the batter out at first or trying to throw out the lead runner. Then the batter's automatically safe. Compute the lead runner's safe rating as running speed -4 plus fielder's defensive rating. So Burke is a 16, -4 makes it 12, and then Munson's fielding rating is a 2, so that would go from 12 to 14. So the end calculation is a 14. So 14 or less, Burke is successful in getting to third base. I can try to throw him out. Sutton would automatically be safe, or I can let Burke advance and throw Sutton out at first. So what I'm going to do is I am going to throw Sutton out at first. So that's a 1 to 3 put out, and it is a sacrifice for the second out, and that moves Burke to third base. So hopefully I didn't get caught up on my tongue there and confuse anybody, but Sutton is able to advance Burke to third. So a productive at bat from Sutton. All right, top of the order for Davey Lopes. Burke's on third with 2 out. And that is a 5 and a 7 with a right-handed batter. 5 and a 7 is a strikeout. Even though the Dodgers were able to start out the inning with a runner in scoring position and get him to third base with 2 outs, they failed to convert. So 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 1 man left on base in the top of the third inning. The Yankees are going to begin the bottom of the third at the top of their lineup. So Mickey Rivers is at the plate. Rivers led off the game with a single, managed to get to third base himself, however was unable to score with the Yankees having the bases loaded. So Rivers is up again. The roll. That's a 4 and a 3 against a left-handed batter. A 4 and a 3 is a ground ball. Third base X. Third baseman is the all-star Ron Say. He has a 2 and a 20 fielding and error rating. So that's a 17. And then 6 and a 10 on the error rating. So let's see what we've got here. So that is a 2 and a 17 is a G1. And then 20 and a 10 results in nothing. So Rivers is out 4 to 3 for the first out of the Yankees inning. We got Willie Randolph next. Randolph grounded out 4-3 in the first. It's a 4 and a 3 against a right-handed batter. A 4 and a 3 is a ground ball third base X. So Say gets us another ball hit to him. Again, he was a 2 fielding rating and a 20 error rating. So that's a 6 and an 8-13. So a 2 and a 6 is a G2 hashtag. We'll ignore the hash. And then a 20 and a 13 is nothing. So that is a 5-3. I think I might have misspoke. Rivers grounded out 5-3 in his at bat, not 4-3. So back-to-back putouts by Say for 2 outs in the Yankees' bottom half of the third. The captain, Thurman Munson, with 2 down. That's a 4 and a 7 against a right-handed batter. A 4 and a 7 is a strikeout. So the Yankees go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. The score is the Dodgers 0 and the Yankees 0. So Bill Russell is ready to get the Dodgers let off in the top of the fourth. This will be the second time through the lineup for the Dodgers against Gillette. We'll see if they have any better success than the first time. Russell grounded out 5-3 in the first in the pitch. A 3 and a 7 against a left-handed pitcher. A 3 and a 7 is a fly ball to center field. So Rivers makes the first out. Switch hitter Reggie Smith, batting from the right side of the plate, is now up. Smith struck out in the first, so that is a 1 and a 7 against a left-handed pitcher. And Rivers retires Smith for the second out, fly ball to center field. Third baseman Ron Say, who had a couple of nice plays in the third inning for the Dodgers, is up next. Say grounded out 4-3 in the second. In the pitch, a 1 and a 10 against the left-handed pitcher is a ground ball shortstop A. So that is a clutch play. However, there are no runners at second or third base, so we'll ignore that. So Say grounds out 6-3, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Gillette. After 3.5, the Dodgers 0, the Yankees 0. Game's moving quickly. All these 1-2-3 innings. You know, with both teams having the lineups that they do, I don't expect that to go on forever. But it does allow for a quick game to take place. All right, Mr. Reggie Jackson, Mr. October's up. Jackson walked in the first inning. Was stranded at second base when the Yankees were unable to get any runs when the bases were loaded. So Sutton's pitch to Jackson. That's a 2 and a 7 on a right-handed pitcher. That's a double to left field. So Jackson is aboard with a leadoff double. Second hit issued by Sutton of the game. And that puts a runner in the scoring position for the Yankees. I guess I never realized Jackson was a pretty good runner. He's got a run rating of 1 through 16. I am going to hold him at second. The shortstop, Bill Russell, will be holding Jackson at second. I want to try to be able to pick up that -1 modifier should I get into a situation where he ends up trying for an additional base off of a base hit. So Chambliss is up. Chambliss walked in the first. No random event. That's a 5 and a 4 left-handed batter. So a 5 and a 4 is a catcher X. Possible error on Steve Yeager. Yeager was a 1 and an 8 as a catcher. The roll is a 3 and a 7, 12, a 3 and a 12. We'll see what that results in. So a 3 is a WG, and then an 8 and a 12 is nothing. So we go over to the WG table. So with runners on base, the pitcher uncorks a wild pitch. All runners advance one base and play resumes with the same batter at the plate. With no runners on, the batter hits a squib in front of the plate. The catcher throws him out at first. So a wild pitch takes place. Jackson is going to go to third base. Chambliss remains at the plate. So Sutton uncharacteristically uncorks a wild pitch, and Jackson moves to third. So we have the with Chris Chambliss up there, there's not much of a opportunity to bunt to try to get Jackson in. I probably wouldn't have done that anyways with Chambliss, being that probably better for him to swing away. So there's no random event. That is a 4 and a 3. 4 and a 3 with a left-handed hitter is a ground ball, third base, X. So say it's another opportunity for an out here. Let's see if we can get Jackson in. Hopefully we can on this roll, but we'll see. So that's an 8 on the fielding rating throw, and then 14 on the error rating. So looking at the third baseman, Ron Say. So it's a 2 and an 8 results in a G2. And a 20 and a 14 is an E1. So G2 E1. Error, batter to first, runners advance one base. Alright, so Jackson's going to score. It is an error. I'm not going to score that an earned run. So that was an E5. Chambliss is on first, and Say commits the first error of the game. And the Yankees are aboard, or have their first run of the game for a 1-0 lead. So a wild pitch contributes to getting Jackson another 90 feet, and then the error by Chambliss scores Jackson from third. Greg Nettles, the All-Star Gold Glove third baseman, is up next. Chambliss is going to stay put. He is being held, however. Ooh, big roll. That's a 6 and an 11 with a left-handed batter. A 6 and 11 is a fly ball, right field X. Our right fielder, is Reggie Smith. That's a 2 and a 6. So that is a 10 on the fielding roll, and then a 9 on the error roll. And Smith is a right fielder, so that's a 2 and a 10 is an F2, and then a 6 and a 9 results in no effect. So an F2, fly out. If there's a runner on third, he scores. Runner on second may tag up. Runner at first is going to stay put. So Nettles is out on a fly ball to the right fielder for the first out of the inning. Chambliss stays put. We have the left fielder Lou Piniella batting next. So we have 2 down. You know, I am going to try to roll for a good lead with Chambliss, just for the fun of it. I get a 2, his base chance for stealing with a good lead is a 20, so I'm going to try. Ooh, almost a random event. So that's a 5. He doesn't get a good lead, which is fine. He won't steal. but he will remain held at first. He will be held at first base. So Lou Piniella is up. That's an 8, no random event, a 4 and a 3 with a right-handed batter. A 4 and a 3 is a ground ball third base X. So no shortage of action for the Dodgers third baseman Ron Cey. Let's see here. Cey again is a 2 and a 20. We should all have that memorized by now. That's a 15 and then 12, 17. So a 2 and a 15 is a G1. And then 20 on a third base and a 17 is nothing. So we have a G1, runners at first. We have a double play, 5, 4, 3. Well, yeah, 5, 4, 3 double play. So Chambliss makes the second out, and then we have Lou Piniella with the third. So a Cey double play ends the Yankees' threat. They leave one stranded. They do get one off of an error and a wild pitch, and it's the Yankees 1 and the Dodgers 0. Top of the 5th, Yankees lead the Dodgers 1-0. We have Garvey, Baker, and Burke up for the Dodgers. A 5 and an 8 against a right-handed batter is a double 1-5, a fly out to left field 6-20, and that is a fly out to Lou Piniella in left field for the first out of the inning. Garvey is retired. Dusty Baker, who flew out to right field in his second inning at bat, is next. That's a 6 and a 6. 6 and a 6 against a right-handed batter is a fly out 9. So flies out, two outs to the right fielder Reggie Jackson, courtesy of Dusty Baker. So that is the second out of the inning. Again, Baker flew out to Jackson in the first as well. And then our center fielder Glenn Burke with 2 down. It's a 5 and a 10. Burke is a right-handed batter. A 5 and a 10. It's a possible ballpark effect single. So a 1 through 8. And it is an 8. So Burke gets a 2-out single to keep the inning alive. That's Burke's second hit of the game. Burke is the only Dodger who has had a hit against Gillette in today's game. I'm going to try to move Burke over on a stolen base. So the Yankees are holding Burke at first, so he gets a good lead on a 2 through a 7. And I rolled an 8, so he does not achieve a good lead, and he will stay put. Alright, but he is continuing to be held. So that's a 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7 against a left-handed pitcher. 2 and a 7 is a single, 1-2. A line out to the shortstop, 3 through 20. Ooh, almost a single. However, it is a line out to short. Bucky Dent makes the third out. Fast innings for Don Gillette. Yankees strand 1. After 4.5, it is the Yankees 1, the Dodgers 0. Now feel free to leave in the comment section how you like to set your board up, as you play the game. I like doing this. I'm probably a little bit slower. I do play against a gentleman we do it through Google Meetup, and he moves a lot faster than I do. I know if I move too fast, I'm gonna screw things up, and I don't want to do that. So apologize if the game's moving a little bit slow because I moved the cards around and stuff, but it really helps me kind of keep organized. So, and frankly, that's one of the things I like about this game. So Yankees are up in the bottom half of the fifth. It's Dent, Gillette, and Rivers. So Bucky Dent takes the pitch. That's a 6 and a 4 against a right-handed batter. Is a ground ball, shortstop X. Shortstop is Bill Russell, who is a 2 and a 32. Oops. That's an 11 and a 10. An 11 on a 2 is a G1. And an error rating of 32 on the shortstop is a 10. So no effect. So that's a ground out 6-3 for Dent for the first out of the inning for the Yankees. Gillette is up. We're not interested in seeing Gillette be pitch hit for. He's pitching a heck of a game, so we'll go ahead and let him do perform his magic at the plate, so to speak. So Gillette is a right-handed hitter, so that is a 5 and a 6. Ground out 6-3 again. So Bill Russell's responsible for both of the Yankees outs, along with the first baseman Steve Garvey. All right, top of the Yankees order, Mickey Rivers. Rivers is 1 for 2 with a single in the first and a ground out to third in the third. So that's a 2 and a 5 against a right-handed pitcher. A 2 and a 5 is a triple 1 to 6, or a single 7 through 20. And that is a single. So Rivers keeps the inning alive with a 2-out single. We have Willie Randolph up next. I am going to play this a little aggressively. I'm going to try to steal with Rivers. So I'm going to roll for a good lead. He is being held. 3 through 8. It's a good lead. On an 11, he's caught stealing. Look at that. And the aggressiveness does not get rewarded here. I rolled an 11 on the lead. That is an out. So Rivers is picked off of first base. And the Yankees faithful are letting the manager know of their disapproval of that stolen base attempt. All right, part of the game. So with that, the Yankees are out of the 5th inning. No runs are scored. For no errors. So the Yankees 1, Dodgers 0. All right, so we are in the top of the 6th. Both Gillette and Sutton are pitching very well. However, I am going to get bullpens for both teams up and going. So in the Dodgers bullpen, we're going to have the right-handed pitching Elias Sosa, and the left-handed pitching Lats Routson. Get up and start tossing. Okay, Sutton should run into a problem. And then in the Yankees bullpen, Dick Tidrow, the right-handed hurler, and Ken Holtzman, the lefty, are going to get up and start warming up as well. So usually when I play my bullpen, home rules are a couple of batters to get them warmed up before they can come into the game. So I'm going to get those guys going in the bullpen, and we'll see how the 6th inning progresses. So 6th inning for the Dodgers, Don Sutton is going to lead off. He is a hitting card 2. He will swing away. That's a 2 and an 8, and that is a strikeout. I do like how Sutton's pitching. I don't want to make a move too early. I want to see if I can, get him through as many innings as I can to help save that bullpen for subsequent games. Right. So Davey Lopes is up. Lopes is 0 for 2. That's a 5 and a 3. 5 and a 3 against a right-handed batter is a ground ball, first base X. So ball's hit back to Chambliss. Chambliss is a 3-17. So our roll, that's a 16 and a 10. 3 and a 16 is a G1, and then a 17 on a first baseman and a 10 is no effect, and so that will be a unassisted put out by Chambliss. So 3 unassisted for the second out of the inning. Shortstop Bill Russell trying to get something going here for the Dodgers. That is a 5 and an 8. Right-handed batter is a 5 and an 8 is a double, 1 through 5. Fly ball to left field, 6 through 20, and he flies out to left field. So 3 up and 3 down for the Dodgers in the top half of the 6. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's the Yankees 1 and the Dodgers 0. So Thurman Munson is going to bat first for the Yankees. Munson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout in today's game. It's a 6 and a 10 against a right-handed batter. 6 and a 10 is a ground ball shortstop. Excuse me, I had Willie Randolph batting. I batted out of order there. So it's actually Randolph at the plate. My apologies, Strat-O-Maticers. So I'm going to re-roll that. That's a 5 and a 4. 5 and a 4 against a right-handed batter is a catcher X. So we go to Steve Yeager's card. Yeager is a 1 and an 8. Yeager's a great defensive catcher. One opportunity he has is in the throwing rating that he has. It's a 1 through 18 throwing error. That's a pretty high degree of likelihood that he's going to make a bad throw to second on a stolen base attempt, but otherwise he's an excellent defensive catcher. So let's see, a 1 and an 8. So that's an 18 and 12, 13. So that is a G2. And then an 8 on the catcher error rating, and a 13 is a blank. So a G2 no. We're going to score that a squib in front of the catcher, and we're going to score that 2 to 3. So Randolph is out. Now it's Thurman Munson's turn at the plate. As mentioned, Munson is 0 for 2 with 1 strikeout. So that's a 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. A 2 and a 7 is a fly ball center field. So that's out number 2. Burke makes the catch. And we have Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, at the plate with 2 down. That's a 5 and a 9 against a left-handed batter. 5 and a 9 is a home run, 1 through 6, a double 7 through 20. It is with an N power rating, no question about Jackson on that one, right gang? So 1 through 6 it's a home run, double 7 through 20. So Jackson is aboard with his second double of the game, and he is 2 for 2 with today's action. So Jackson's at second base with the left-handed hitting Chris Chambliss up. There are 2 down. Jackson will be held at second by the shortstop. And here we go. 3 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher is a ground ball, first base, A. So Chambliss grounds out. We're going to score that 3-1 for the third out. Jackson is left at second. So that's 1 hit, no runs, and no errors. 1 left on base. At the conclusion of 6, it is the Yankees 1 and the Dodgers 0. Alright, top of the 7th. The Yankees do have Dick Tidrow and Kent Holtzman warmed up in the pen. If Gillette gets in any trouble, the 7th inning is the inning where Gillette can become susceptible to fatigue, and so we'll keep an eye on that. But the bullpen for the Yankees is ready. Alright, Reggie Smith is up. Reggie's 0 for 2 for the day with 1 strikeout. It's a 5 and a 5, batting from the right side of the plate. That is a leadoff walk. So Smith reaches on a walk. That is the first walk issued by Gillette. We are not going to steal with Smith, however, he will be held at first. Third baseman Ron Cey is up. Cey is 0 for 2 today. And the pitch. Alright, we have a possible balk or pass ball. So I'm going to roll the 6-sided dice again. Possible balk. Actually, there is none available, so I will re-roll the 3 dice. Even though there is no balk, I do take into consideration that a roll took place and that it does allow me just to re-roll the 3 dice. So that's kind of my interpretation of how that rule works and how I play it when I'm playing Strat-O-Matic. So a 6 and a 10 was Cey at the plate against a right-handed batter. 6 and a 10 is a ground ball, shortstop A. That is going to be a 6-4-3 double play. So Smith is retired and Cey is as well. So 2 down just like that to the first baseman Steve Garvey. That is a 6 and a 5. 6 and a 5 is a ground ball, shortstop X. Shortstop is Bucky Dent. Dent is a 2 and a 20. That's a 13 and a 6. Alright, 2 and a 13 is a G1. And a 20 and a 6 is nothing, so that's a 6-3 putout for the third inning. So the Dodgers are 3 up and 3 down. Gillette continues to work fast. That is his 3, 4, 5. Gillette's had 5 of his 7 innings, 3 up, 3 down. So extremely efficient today on the mound is the lefty Don Gillette for the Yankees. Alright, Sutton also has hit his limit, or at least the limit of not pitching with fatigue. So the 7th inning is here for Sutton as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on him as the inning progresses. So Greg Nettles is up. I think he's looking for a couple of insurance runs here to widen the gap. They are leading 1-0. The pitch, a 4 and a 5 against the left-handed batter, is a fly out to left field. So F7. Dusty Baker catches the first out of the inning. Sweet Lou Piniella, 6 and a 7 against a right-handed batter, is a ground ball, second base X. So Lopes has an opportunity here. He has a 319. So that is a 1 and a 7 and an 11. So this probably is not going to fare well for the Dodgers. So a 3 and a 1 is an SI2. And a 19 and an 11 results in no error. So an SI2 with no effect is a single. So Piniella reaches first on a single. Ball scoots right past Davey Lopes. So Piniella is aboard with 1 out. Fifth hit given up by Sutton this evening's game. So we have Bucky Dent up. Piniella is not much of a base running threat here. He will be held at first base, however. Dent will swing away. That is a 1 and a 10. A 1 and a 10 against a right-handed pitcher is a ground ball third base A. So ground ball third base A. Batter out, runner on first out, double play. So that'd be a 5-4-3 double play. So just like that, the Yankees are retired 1-2-3. They're unable to move Piniella past first base, and at the end of 7, it's the Dodgers 0 and the Yankees 1. All right, top of the 8th, Baker, Burke, and Yeager, the first 3 batters of the Dodgers order. Dodgers trail 1-0. Lett is still on the mound. And the pitch to Baker is a 3 and 11. Against the left-handed pitcher, a 3 and 11 is a ground ball second base. So Baker is out to lead off the 8th inning. Glenn Burke. Burke is 2 for 2 today. He has the only Dodgers hits. Let's see if he can keep the magic going. That's a 5 and a 3 against the left-handed hitter, or excuse me, a right-handed hitter. 5 and a 3 is a ground ball first base X. So Chambliss is tested. That's a 3 and a 17. That is a 17 and a 6. 3 and a 17 is a G1. And then a 17, the first baseman's card, and a 6 results in an error, an E1. So it's a G1, E1. Error, batter to first. So Chambliss makes an error. Burke is able to get to first base because of said error. And the Dodgers have their leadoff runner on base. That was Chambliss who made the error. All right. So Burke reaches first on an E3. The right-handed hitting Steve Yeager is up. Let's take a look here. I'm going to try for a good lead here to see if we can't get Burke over to second on a stolen base. So I need a 2 through 7. And I just miss it. That's an 8. Yeah, not going to risk it. With the modifiers, it would take Burke down to an 8, and just don't need to do that. We'll see if we can hit him around. So Yeager's at the plate. He's going to swing away. Burke is still being held. No random event. That's a 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7 against a Left-handed batter is a single 1 through 2. Line out, shortstop 3 through 20. And that is an 8. So Yeager lines out to the shortstop for the second out of the inning. Burke remains at first. Sutton is the expected batter. However, I am going to pinch hit for Sutton with the right-handed hitting Ted Martinez. So I'm just going to record that in my notes here. So Martinez comes into the game as a pitch hitter. Sutton pitched a very good game for the Dodgers. Went 7. We'll give his tallies up next inning when we bring in our relief pitcher, but great game by Sutton. So Martinez is a right-handed batter, and he is going to try to move Burke around. So here we go. It's a 1. So a wild pitch on a 5 or less. There is no wild pitch. The ball is thrown to Martinez. That's a 1 and a 4 against a left-handed pitcher. And that is a ground ball, second base, B. So Lasorda's moved to bring in a pitch hitter for Sutton. Doesn't pan out. Burke is stranded at first. So that is no runs, no hits, 1 error. Error is charged to Chris Chambliss, and 1 left on base. So after 8 innings, top of the 8th has been completed. It's the Yankees 1, the Dodgers 0. So, with the 8th inning, Sutton has been taken out of the game. We are at a point where we're at Don Gillette, who's a lefty, Mickey Rivers is a lefty, and then we have a couple of righties. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the left-handed pitching Lance Routson. So Routson is going to come in as a relief pitcher. He has a relief rating of 1. So he's vulnerable to fatigue immediately. He is a left-handed pitcher with a -1 hold rating, a balk rating of 0, and a wild pitch rating of 0. So Routson is on the mound. I've got Elias Sosa warmed up and ready to go as a right-handed relief pitcher as well for the Dodgers. So with that being said, Don Gillette is the batter. I am going to pinch hit for Gillette against the lefty Routson. And let's see here. I'm going to bring a right-handed hitter in. I'm going to bring in the right-handed hitter Fred Stanley. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to bring in Roy White instead. He's a switch hitter. So Roy White is going to bat for Gillette. Gillette had a fantastic outing in today's game. We'll get you the line here shortly on him. So Stanley is up as a pinch hitter, or excuse me, Roy White, pardon me. And he is a switch hitter, and The line on Gillette is 8 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts, no runs. So it doesn't get much better than that as far as a Game 1 World Series performance goes. So nice job to Don Gillette. Routson is in for the Dodgers. Roy White is pinch hitting for Gillette. And we'll get this inning going. The lefty throws the ball home. That's a 4 and a 3 on a right-handed batter. A 4 and a 3 is a fly, right field X. Alright, so that is to Reggie Smith. Smith is at 2 and a 6. That's a 3. A 3 on a 2 is an SI2. And an error rating of 6. And that is a 6, and a 6 is a 12. Results in no error. SI2 is a single. So White is able to get to first base on a single. So that's a single. And the pitch hitting move pays off. So first batter Routson is faced, and he gives up a single. All right, top of the Yankees order, left-handed hitter Mickey Rivers. Mickey Rivers in today's game is 2 for 3. The Dodgers are going to get right-handed relief pitcher Charlie Huff up and throwing as well. So that's a 5 and a 10 against a left-handed batter. 5 and a 10 is a possible ballpark effect single. So on a 1 through 8, Rivers hits a single, and that is with 1 star. So Roy White goes to second, and River goes to first on a single. That's his 3rd hit of the day. And they're now 2 aboard with a runner in scoring position for the Yankees. We have 2 right-handed batters up next, Willie Randolph and Thurman Munson. Routson is going to be dismissed. He faced 2 left-handed batters and gave up 2 consecutive singles, so he is going to get the hook. And so he owns both of those. Routson is done for the night, and I'm going to bring in right-handed relief pitcher Elias Sosa. So Sosa has a +3 hold. He is a right-handed pitcher, as I mentioned. 0 block rating and a 3 wild pitch. And he has a 2 fielding rating and a 0 error rating. So pretty solid defensive pitcher, with the exception of his inability to hold runners at first. So Routson owns both the players on base. Sosa is up. He is facing the right-handed Willie Randolph. So runners aboard, no outs, and the pitch to Randolph is a 4 and a 6 against a right-handed batter. 4 and a 6 is a triple, 1 through 3. Fly ball B, 4 through 20. So that is a fly ball center field B. So that's 1 out. It's an 8. F8. And Burke's arm is a 0. We're going to stay put. So Randolph is down. We have Munson. Oh, here's my roll for Munson. So there is no special event. A 3 and a 5 against a right-handed pitcher results in a single 2 asterisks. So Munson gets his first hit of the game. That's going to move Rivers to second, and that will score White from second. So Rivers goes to third, excuse me, and Munson goes to first on an RBI single. So White scores. Munson has a hit and an RBI. That's a run for Sosa, earned run charge to Routson. We've got Rivers on third, Munson on first with 1 out. So, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson's up, looking to keep it going. The Yankees are going to get the American League Cy Young winner Sparky Lyle up in the bullpen. With that said, Holtzman will sit down, and the Yankees will have Tidrow and Lyle ready to go when they take the field next. Alright, so Jackson's up, 1 down, runners on first and third. Here we go. Munson is being held, by the way. So that is a 1. So we have a possible wild pitch on a 3 or less. And there is not a wild pitch. So that's a 5 and a 4. 5 and a 4 against a left-handed batter is a ground ball third base X. Ron Say is a 220. That is a 3 and a 10. A 3 and a 10. Third base. A 2 and a 3 is an SI2. And a 20 and a 10 is a blank. So an SI2, single, runners advance 2 bases. So the wheels are starting to fall off here in the bottom of the 8th for the Dodgers. So Jackson gets a single. Rivers is going to score. It's the 3rd hit of the game for Jackson. First RBI for Jackson, however. And that is going to be a run charge to Routson. And just like that, Sosa's given up 2 hits. So Munson is going to go to third. Jackson is going to go to first. And there still remains only 1 out, with Chris Chambliss, the first baseman, up. So the Yankees have gotten 2 across in the bottom of the 8th. Charlie Huff is ready to go in the bullpen for the Dodgers. I'm just looking here to make sure I've got my records right. Very good. Alright, Chambliss is up. Jackson's going to be held at first. That's a 4 and a 3 against a left-handed batter. 4 and a 3 is a ballpark effect single, so a 1 through 8 it's a single with 1 star. That is a 5. So Chambliss keeps the hit parade going. Jackson goes to first. Munson scores. And the Yankees now have 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Frustration's mounting. You can see it in Sosa's face. That's going to be it for Sosa. Line is not good on him. Sosa faced 4 batters. He gave up 3 singles. Shoot 2 runs, and 1 of them were earned, and Munson scored. Actually, he shoot 3 runs. There we go. And Munson gets an RBI. Jackson, Chambliss. All right. So let's make sure we've got the runners where they need to be. Jackson, Chambliss. Sosa is done. Reliever Charlie Huff comes in. Huff, I think, had 20-some saves in '77. He had 22 saves in 1977. Was hoping to bring him out with a Dodger lead, but that is not the case. He has a Bach rating of 0 and a wild pitch rating of 13, so the ball can get away. Huff was a knuckleballer, if I remember correctly. Probably the reason why he has such a high opportunity for a wild pitch. I'll have to confirm that after the game. So Huff's defensive rating is a 3 and a 12. He comes into the game with runners on first and second. Both of those are owned by Sosa. And let's see what he can do against Craig Nettles. Jackson is being held at second base. Dodgers bullpen is empty at this point. Lasorda's putting all his hopes on Charlie Huff and his ability to get the Yankees' final 2 outs. So that's no event. That's a 2 and a 10. A 2 and a 10 against a a right-handed pitcher is a single on a 1 or a line out to first, 2 through 20. So Nettles lines out to first base for the second out of the inning. Lou Piniella comes up with 2 down. Jackson still being held. Righty-righty matchup here. That's a 2 and a 4. 2 and a 4 is a potential ballpark effect on a 1 through 8. And that is a 12. And that is a line out to the shortstop. So Huff is able to come into the game and finally retire 2 Yankees batters for the second and third out. And after a highly effective 8th inning, the Yankees add 3 more runs and increase their lead to 4-0 over the Dodgers. Top of the 9th, the Yankees have brought in Sparky Lyle, the American League Cy Young Award winner for 1977, to try to close Game 1 of the '77 World Series out. Lyle is going to face the top of the Dodgers lineup, and we do have Dick Tidrow, the right-handed hurler, in the bullpen should Lyle need to be spelled. But Martin is really hoping that Lyle can get these remaining 3 outs to seal the deal for Game 1. That being said, I like the Dodgers lineup at this point. I don't think there's anybody off the bench who's going to do any better than the top 4 or 5 hitters for the Dodgers that are already in the game. We do have that lefty-righty benefit for the Dodgers, and we'll see how Lyle is able to handle that. So Davey Lopes is going to try to get the Dodgers started. Dodgers have a 4-run deficit to overcome. Let's see if they can do that. That's a 2 and a 5 against a left-handed pitcher. And Lopes does not get the Dodgers started as he strikes out. Shortstop Bill Russell will bat next. With the switch hitting Reggie Smith on deck. Real quick, the lines on Don Gullett. He pitched 8 innings. He gave up 2 hits. Both of those were to Glenn Burke. He allowed no runs, no earned runs, of course, with 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. So an excellent Game 1 performance by Don Gullett. And he is in line for the win, should Lyle get these remaining 2 batters. So that's a 6 and a 9 against a right-handed batter. 6 and a 9 is a ground ball shortstop hex. Shortstop is Bucky Dent. Dent is a $2 and a $20. So that is a 6, and then a 14. Get to our shortstop. It's a 2 and a 6. There's a G2 hash. The hash will not come into play here. A 20 and a 14. And that is a no result. So Russell is out 6-3 for the second out of the 9th. Reggie Smith is hoping to be able to get on base to keep the inning going, but things are looking pretty bleak right now for the Dodgers. Smith will be hitting from the right side. That's a 2 and a 4. That's a left-handed pitcher. Is a home run, 1 through 19, a triple on a 20. That is a home run. So for the first time in the game, offensively, the Dodgers have something to be cheering about. First hit allowed by Smith. First one allowed by the Yankees. So the Dodgers cut the lead to 4-1. Third baseman Ron Sayup. Lyle shakes that off, and the pitch, a 2 and a 9, is a strikeout. So Lyle gives up a home run to Reggie Smith, and then records the second strikeout of the inning to retire the Dodgers and get out of the 9th inning. So the New York Yankees are your Game 1 winners with a score of 4-1. Don Gullett is the winning pitcher. Losing pitcher is Don Sutton. Sutton went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits with 1 run, 2 base on balls, 2 strikeouts, and 1 wild pitch. So an interesting Game 1 to the series. Look forward to putting Game 2 together and posting that as well. Really appreciate everybody joining today, or to watch, excuse me. And you know, if you enjoyed it, leave some notes in the comment section. If you have any critique, be kind. You know, this is my first time doing this, and you know, I have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it as well. So again, thank you very much. Good night.